It's really wild how fast AI is moving, isn't it? Especially large language models. You feel like you just get a handle on things, and boom, something new pops up. Trying to stay informed without drowning in jargon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a full-time job sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. The pace is incredible. And honestly, the sheer amount of information out there, it can be overwhelming. That's why it's useful, I think, to occasionally zoom out and see the bigger picture, the main trends.
Exactly, which is precisely our plan today. We're diving deep into large language models, specifically where things stand around May 2025. We really want to cut through the noise and understand this key split we're seeing between the big proprietary API-based models and the open-weight ones. And we'll also look at this really interesting new platform, 3NS. It seems to be connecting AI with decentralized identity.
Yeah, think of this as like your shortcut to what really matters right now. We've dug into the key reports, the specs, to pull out the core differences, the benefits, the potential of these two main approaches to LLMs, and also how 3NS fits into all this. We've looked at detailed LLM reports, info straight from 3NS itself, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, great. So let's dive in. Starting with those big proprietary models, what exactly do we mean by proprietary API-based LLMs?
Right. So essentially, these are closed source. The company that builds them keeps the inner workings, the data they trained on, the architecture, the model weights, it's all confidential.
Like a secret sauce.
Pretty much. And you, as a user or developer, you interact with the model's power through the cloud, typically using an API, an application programming interface. It's like tacking into the super powerful brain remotely.
Got it. So who are the main players dominating this space right now, May 2025? Give us the lay of the land.
Well, at the top, you've still got OpenAI. Their GPT-4 and the newer GPT 4.5, they're still benchmarks for many tasks. Then there's the more affordable GPT 3.5 Turbo, still very popular, and that newer GPT 4.1 family they rolled out. Anthropic is a major contender too, with Claude 2 and especially the Claude 3 models. Google, of course, with Paul M2 and their multimodal Gemini series.
Multimodal meaning they handle more than just text. Images, maybe.
Exactly. Text, images, sometimes audio or code. Gemini was built that way from the start. Then you have Microsoft, mainly providing access to OpenAI models through Azure, but with their own enterprise features layered on top. Amazon's got their Titan models, plus the older Alexa TM20B. And don't forget Cohere with Command, AI21 Labs with Jurassic 2, Aleph Alpha with Luminous. Plus, significant players from China Baidu's Ernie Bot, Alibaba's Tongyi Qianwen, Tencent's Hunyuan, and others like Inflection AI's Pi, Character AI, IBM's Watson X.AI platform. Oh, and worth a quick mention, though maybe less central now, are the older code-specific models like OpenAI Codex and AI21's code models.
Wow, okay. That's quite the list. Let's maybe zoom in on a few flagships. What makes them stand out right now? Their key strengths.
Sure. Let's take OpenAI's GPT-4 and 4.5. They're the real powerhouses for complex stuff. Multimodal, like we said, huge context windows, some turbo versions handle up to 128,000 tokens.
Which is massive, right? Like a whole book's worth of text.
Pretty much, yeah. A small novel, easily. Great for complex reasoning, coding, multiple languages. They offer different price points too. GPT 3.5 Turbo, on the other hand, is more your workhorse for general conversation, faster tasks, cheaper, context is smaller, 4K or 16K tokens, but still very capable and very cost effective.
And the GPT 4.1 family you mentioned, what's the idea there?
Right. 4.1 is interesting. They all have this massive 1 million token context window, but they come in tiers. Standard for top accuracy, mini for a balance of speed and cost, and nano for super fast, cheaper tasks. It lets you pick the right balance of power and cost for a specific job, but always with that huge context available.
Okay, so OpenAI is really trying to cover all the bases. How do Anthropic and Google stack up against that?
Anthropic's Claude 2 and 3 are really strong, known for large contexts too, up to 100K tokens. Great for digging through long documents. They also put a big emphasis on safety in their design, and Claude 3 showed some real improvements in like step-by-step reasoning, often a bit cheaper than GPT-4 too.
Interesting. And Google.
Google's Paul M2 is excellent with multiple languages, and coding it powers their Bard chatbot. Context is around 8K tokens. Gemini, though, is their big multimodal push. Different sizes, nano up to ultra. By now, May 2025, Gemini 2.0 is seriously challenging GPT-4's performance, especially on tricky problems.
It definitely sounds like bigger context and multimodality are key trends. What about some of the others you listed? Quick highlights.
Okay, Amazon's Titan. Different versions like Leet, Express, Premiere. Good for text generation, Q&A, coding. They really push the customization angle.
Yeah.
Cohere's command, built for following instructions, good for business tasks like summaries, multilingual, and generally low cost. AI 21 Labs Jurassic 2 really shines at long-form text, very knowledgeable, lets you set up custom AI personas, supports English and Hebrew, often costs less. Aleph Alpha's Luminous, European company, strong on multilingual comprehension and, importantly, explainability. Popular where data privacy is key.
Makes sense. And the major Chinese models, what are their specialties?
Baidu's ErnieBot, really strong in Chinese, multimodal, uses a knowledge graph to approve its answers, powers Baidu search. Alibaba's Tongyi Qinwen, also strong in Chinese, handles complex instructions well, integrated into their whole ecosystem. Their Queen API is known for being quite affordable. Tencent's Hunyuan, again, Chinese focus, handles text, images, OCR, used across Tencent services, emphasis on being reliable.
Okay, so looking at all these proprietary options, what are the main advantages they generally offer? Why choose them?
Well, typically they're at the absolute cutting edge of capability. They often have the biggest models, the latest features like advanced multimodality, simply because these big companies pour huge resources into R&D. You also get strong support, reliable scaling from the provider, which is crucial for businesses. And just the ease of use, plugging into a well-documented API makes development much faster for many people.
Right. And access is usually just through these APIs. What about cost?
Mostly APIs, yes, or integrated into cloud platforms like Azure or AWS or consumer apps. Pricing is typically pay as you go based on tokens, how much text you send in and get out, though some offer subscriptions too, like ChatGPT Plus.
Got it. That paints a clear picture of the proprietary world. Now let's flip the coin. Open weight LLMs. What makes them different?
The key difference is openness, specifically the model weights. Those are the core parameters, the brain of the model, if you like. With open weight models, these weights are publicly released. So you can download them, use them, and this is the big one, modify them.
Modify them how? Like train them on your own stuff?
Exactly. Fine-tune them on your specific data for your specific needs. All within the license terms, of course. This opens up huge possibilities for customization and running models locally.
So instead of the secret sauce, the recipe is shared.
That's a great analogy. Proprietary keeps the recipe secret, open weight shares it, lets you bake your own variations.
Cool. So who are the big names and models in this open weight space now?
Meta is definitely a heavyweight with their LLaMA family. LLaMA 2 came in sizes up to 70 billion parameters, with a license that was really permissive for commercial use. Huge impact. And now Lamar 3 is out 8B, 70B, and a massive 405B parameter version. It's multilingual, has longer context, and performance is getting really close to the top proprietary models, still very freely available. Then there's Falcon from TII in the UAE. Their 40B and especially the 180B models are very strong open options under an Apache 2.0 license. Mistral AI also made waves. Their Mistral 7B model was small, but punched way above its weight. Also Apache 2.0. They also have Mixtral, an 8x22B MOE model, and likely a 13B dense model by now.
MOE, mixture of experts.
Right, mixture of experts, a different architecture. We also see collaborative efforts like Bloom from Big Science and Hugging Face, huge multilingual, and StarCoder, focused on code. Eleuther AI's models like GPT-NeoX and Pythia were foundational early open models. Mosaic ML has MP2 models, some with very long context. Stability AI has stable LM. There's also community stuff like Open Assistant and Vicuna, which was a fine-tuned llama that showed great chatability. And you see lots of smaller accessible models now, like GPT-4all in that 713 billion parameter range, good for running on your own hardware.
So it's not just about massive models.
Not at all. There's also a growing trend of specialized open models for specific languages like JAYS for Arabic or domains like BioMedLM for medical text. In China has significant open models too. GLM, Baishuan, Alibaba's Open Quen models, Tencent's Hunyuan Large MOE.
It definitely sounds like a really vibrant, active space. What are the main advantages of going the open weight route?
Customization is probably the biggest draw. Being able to fine-tune a model on your data for your specific task is incredibly powerful. Privacy is another huge one. You can run these models locally on your own servers. Your data never has to leave your control.
That's a key difference from the API models.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, you tap into this massive, innovative open source community for support and new ideas. And of course, no direct API costs per token. You handle the compute, but you're not paying per query.
Makes sense. How do you actually get these models? And you mentioned licenses. Sounds potentially complicated.
Access is usually downloading the weights. Platforms like Hugging Face are central hubs for this. Licensing is super important. Yeah, some, like Apache 2.0 or MIT, are very open, use them for almost anything, including commercially. Others might be more restrictive. Like the Rail license for Bloom or CC BY-SA for StableM, they might have rules about usage or distribution, often to prevent misuse. You absolutely have to check the license before you use an open weight model, especially for commercial projects.
Okay, really good overview of the two main camps, proprietary and open weight. Now let's bring in that third element you mentioned earlier, 3NS. What is that exactly? How does it connect AI and this idea of decentralized identity?
Right, 3NS. It stands for Web3 Naming System. It's a really fascinating project sitting at the intersection of blockchain and AI. Think of it as a new kind of internet address system, but one where your address, your digital identity, comes with its own AI baked in. The key insight, I think, is shifting control. Your identity, your AI agent, they become assets you own and control, not services tied to a platform.
Okay, intriguing. What are the actual pieces of this 3NS platform?
There are three main parts. First, the .web3 domains. These are unique identifiers, like your name, .web3. Critically, each domain is an NFT, a non-fungible token. That means you truly own it, you can sell it, transfer it.
Like owning a piece of digital real estate.
It's exactly. Second, you have personalized AI agents. These are smart assistants linked to your domain. They can learn from your data, handle tasks for you, like customer service, processing orders, maybe even offering consultations based on your expertise. And third, 3NS gives you these automatically generated personal websites, sort of like your name.3ns.link. Think Linktree, but supercharged with your AI agent built right in. It's your central online hub.
Wow. AI, NFTs, domains. What's the tech holding it all together?
It's built on blockchain, primarily, using networks like Moonbeam and Polygon for the security and decentralization of those .web3 domain NFTs. And then there's something called the Agent Domain Protocol, ADP. This is an open standard they've developed. It's the glue that lets these AI agents connect and interact with the .web3 domains, even across different blockchains. It makes the decentralized AI part work.
So bringing this all together, what are the big benefits or possibilities 3NS opens up?
Well, first, a truly unique, ownable digital identity in the Web3 space via the .web3 domain. Second, intelligent automation, letting your AI agent handle routine communications or tasks. Third, this cool idea of monetizing your knowledge. You could train an AI agent with your specific expertise and offer access to it. And finally, decentralized control. You own the domain, you control the agent. No central company can just take it away or change the rules arbitrarily.
This sounds like it could apply in a lot of different areas. Can you give some examples?
Sure. For a business, imagine automating initial customer chats, handling simple orders, booking appointments, all via the AI agent on their .web3 site. For personal brands or creators, it's a unique digital storefront or presence with an AI that reflects their personality or expertise. In education, maybe an AI tutor or consultant you can access through their domain. Even for DAOs, these decentralized autonomous organizations, having unique, verifiable identities could be really useful for membership and voting.
This is definitely a compelling vision of how AI and decentralized tech can merge. It makes you think differently about online identity.
It really does. You look at the LLM world in 2025, these incredibly powerful proprietary models pushing the limits alongside this dynamic open weight scene driving customization. And then you see platforms like 3NS starting to weave AI directly into the fabric of digital identity, but in a decentralized, user-owned way. It's a potential glimpse of a different kind of internet.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe the thing to leave you, the listener, thinking about is this. How might these choices between powerful but closed AI and open, customizable AI shape your future online? And how might platforms like 3NS that blend AI with decentralized ownership change how you interact, work, and even define yourself online? What's that balance for you between cutting-edge power, customization, privacy, and actual control?
Yeah, it really forces you to think about the direction the internet is heading, centralized platforms versus decentralized ownership, and the huge role AI is clearly going to play in that story.
Absolutely. And look, if that specific idea of merging AI with decentralized identity has piqued your interest and you want to see what .web3 domains and AI agents are all about, we definitely encourage you to check out 3ns.domains. It's a really fascinating space to keep an eye on.